Right now, at this very second, you could already be dead, and you wouldn't even know it. Most people assume that if they catch a deadly infection, their body will immediately sound the alarm. A fever will spike, a cough will start, weakness, sharp pain. We think that infection is a loud process, an open battle that our immune system wages from the very first second to protect us. That's not quite right. The true nature of the deadliest virus on Earth is far stranger and unimaginably more terrifying. Imagine a normal day. You are walking in the park, relaxing in nature, or traveling in another country. A stray dog runs up to you, or maybe a bat flies into your tent at night. A light bite happens, or not even a bite, a tiny scratch, an abrasion where a drop of foreign saliva lands. You wash the wound with water, put a Band-Aid on it, and forget about the incident a couple of days later. The wound heals. Your skin becomes perfectly smooth again. You feel absolutely healthy. Weeks pass, then months. In some documented cases, years go by. You live your normal life, make plans, fall in love, change jobs, celebrate holidays. You are absolutely certain that your body belongs to you. But deep inside, under the skin, in the absolute darkness of your organism, something horrifying is happening. A microscopic bullet is slowly but inexorably moving toward your head. Rabies is not just a disease. It is the perfect biological hacker that breaches the very operating system of a human being. The reason you feel nothing for months is that this virus does not enter the bloodstream. If it entered the blood, your white blood cells, the internal soldiers of your immune system, would instantly detect and destroy it. Rabies is too smart for that. It knows the blood is a patrolled territory. Therefore, the virus chooses a hidden path. It infiltrates your peripheral nervous system. Your nerves are the wires through which the brain sends electrical signals to the muscles. Rabies uses these wires as its own private, closed highway. The virus breaches the nerve fiber and hijacks the motor proteins known as dyneins. In a healthy body, dyneins work like tiny trucks transporting nutrients along the nerves. But the virus takes this transport hostage. It boards this biological train and begins its long, silent journey upward toward the central nervous system. Its speed of travel is vanishingly small, only about half an inch to an inch a day. That is exactly why the incubation period can last so long. If you were bitten on the leg, the virus will take months to reach its target. If on the face, the clock ticks in days. But while it is in transit, you feel absolutely nothing. Your immune system is asleep. Your blood is clean. Your medical tests are perfect, but your biological clock has already stopped. If you are fascinated by the dark mysteries of the human body and want to see more, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get back to the nightmare. And then comes Day X. The very moment when the virus reaches the base of your brain. It crosses the blood-brain barrier, the main fortress wall protecting our mind from the outside world. And as soon as it is inside, a process begins that makes rabies the most terrifying phenomenon in nature. The rewiring of your personality begins. We are used to considering ourselves the masters of our thoughts, our personality, our fears, our desires. We believe that all of this makes us human, but the rabies virus proves otherwise. It proves that we are just meat machines that can be controlled by a blind chemical code. Once in the brain, the virus doesn't start destroying it immediately. That would be inefficient. It needs to multiply and pass itself on. If the host simply dies on the spot, the virus dies with them. Therefore, rabies begins to selectively shut down specific areas of your brain, taking over control. First, mild symptoms appear. A tingling sensation at the site of the long-healed bite, a slight headache, unexplained anxiety. You might think you just caught a cold or are tired from work. You take an aspirin, unaware that at this moment you have crossed the point of no return. Once the first clinical symptoms appear, the mortality rate from rabies is 100%. No exceptions, no miraculous cures. Your fate is already sealed. Next comes the hacking of the brain's limbic system, the very part responsible for our basic emotions, fear and aggression. The virus suppresses the inhibitory pathways. It literally erases your humanity. The person becomes incredibly agitated, aggressive, tormented by horrifying paranoid hallucinations. They lose the ability to sleep. In popular culture, this stage is often called turning into a zombie, and that is not an exaggeration. The virus intentionally induces an overwhelming desire in the victim to bite and attack others. Why? Because parallel to the attack on the brain, the virus commands your salivary glands to produce massive amounts of saliva and fills it with billions of its copies. To survive and continue its lineage, the virus needs this infected saliva to enter the bloodstream of a new victim, and it forces you to become its delivery instrument. But the most terrifying and incomprehensible invention of this virus is the symptom that gave the disease its other name, hydrophobia, or the fear of water. Imagine a person who hasn't had a drink in days. Their mouth is parched. Their throat burns like fire. Their body begs for a sip of water. A glass is brought to them, but the moment they see the water, or hear the sound of pouring liquid, or even just think about water, their body is racked by brutal, uncontrollable convulsions. The throat constricts in an agonizing spasm, not letting a single drop through. The person violently throws the glass away, choking in terror. Many think this is just a psychological fear. No, it is pure, cold mechanics. The virus hacks your reflexes. Why does it forbid you to drink? The answer gives you chills with its cynical logic. As we already know, the virus concentrates in your saliva to be transmitted through a bite. If you drink water, you will wash the infected saliva down into your stomach. And in the stomach, hydrochloric acid will instantly destroy the virus. Rabies cannot allow this to happen. It literally disables your ability to swallow. Your own brain, enslaved by a parasite, prefers to kill you from dehydration rather than let you wash away the precious biological weapon from your mouth. You become a hostage in your own body. You are fully conscious and understand that you want to drink, but your hardware interface no longer obeys you. Aerophobia is often added to hydrophobia, an unbearable fear of fresh air. The slightest draft of wind in the face causes the same hellish spasms of the larynx and panic attacks. Your brain works to the point of exhaustion. Neurons burn out from the overload, plunging you into a state of absolute existential terror. Medicine is completely powerless at this point. Doctors can only tie the patient to a bed in a dark, quiet room so that neither light, nor sound, nor a breeze can trigger new convulsions. All that specialists can do is watch as an ancient microscopic code methodically destroys the highly complex mechanism of human consciousness. After a few days of continuous nightmare, the final stage arrives, the paralytic stage. The body wastes away, the reprogrammed brain fails. Muscles stop obeying, breathing slows down, and a coma sets in from which there is no return. Asphyxiation or cardiac arrest puts the final period. People love making movies about zombie apocalypses, inventing sci-fi scenarios about cordyceps fungi or synthetic biolabs. But the truth is, the perfect zombie virus already exists. It is older than humanity. It has been hiding in the shadows for millennia, in the wild, in the saliva of bats, foxes, and stray dogs. This story is the cruelest reminder of our true nature. We build skyscrapers, launch rockets into space, create artificial intelligence, and consider ourselves the crown of evolution. We think we control our lives, but all it takes is one insignificant chain of RNA, just 5 genes long, to find a loophole in our nervous system, and it all collapses. Our personality, our will, our freedom disappear. We turn into blind chemical incubators whose only purpose is to produce saliva and bite our neighbor. One tiny typo in our body's security protocols is enough to turn us into monsters from the darkest legends.